Hello viewers, this is Wagada Ronald and I thank you in advance for accepting to watch this video. So in this video we are going to go through the solution to the physics questions I left in the previous video, that is UNEB O-Level UNEB 2019 questions 21 to 30. So this like I said before, this section is of objective questions and you are given 4 options A, B, C and D, and you have to choose only one of the 4 options which is correct. And when necessary we use these constants where G is 10 meters per second squared and specific heat capacity of water 4,200 joules per kilogram per Kelvin. So now we shall go to question 21. Question 21 says, a fixed mass of a gas exerts a pressure of 75 centimeters of mercury at 37 degrees Celsius. If the temperature increased at constant volume to 100 degrees Celsius, find the new pressure. So part A is that, part B is this, part C is that, and part D is that. So we have to choose one correct answer. Now remember, this word constant volume means we are going to use the equation of pressure law. So first of all, you know that initially pressure was 75 centimeters of mercury and temperature was 37 degrees Celsius. But in pressure law, we have to change the temperature from Celsius to Kelvin. So we are going to change from Celsius by adding 273 to come up with 310 Kelvin. Then now the new temperature was 100 degrees Celsius. Change it to Kelvin by adding there 273 to come up with 373 Kelvin. So we have the initial pressure and temperature, and we have the final temperature, and we have to get pressure. So by pressure law, we know that P1 over T1 is equal to P2 over T2. Now P1 is 75 and T1 is 310. P2 is what you want and T2 is 373. Now when we cross multiply and make P2 the subject, by bringing this one this side, we shall come up with 75 over 310 times 373. Now when we rearrange, we shall come up with 373 multiplied by 75 over 310 centimeters of mercury. Now we are going to compare this with the given options and find out which is correct. So when we compare, we shall realize that part A is the correct answer. Question 22 says, figure 1 shows streams of particles from a radioactive source directed between two charged plates. Which one of the following radiations are represented by P, Q, and S respectively? So here we have a positively charged plate, meaning that this positively charged plate has to be attracted by a negative charge. Then this is a negatively charged plate, meaning it has to be attracted by a positive charge. Now this one is neither attracted by a positive charge or negative charge, meaning it has no charge. So we have alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma rays. So here it means that P will be alpha and Q will be beta and S will be gamma rays. So now if you look at alpha particles, we know that alpha particles are positively charged, therefore the P cannot be an alpha particle, because if it was an alpha particle it would have repelled. Therefore this is wrong. What does that mean? It means that P has to be a beta particle. So of this one, gamma rays are neither deflected by positively charged plate or negatively charged plate, meaning this one is also not okay, and this one is this one is also not okay because it is saying that P is an alpha particle. Therefore, when you look at part option C, P is a beta particle, and we know that beta particles are negatively charged, therefore they will be attracted by the positively charged plate. Then when you go to Q are gamma rays, and gamma rays have no charge, and therefore they are neither they are not affected by any charge, either positive charge or negative charge. And when you go to alpha particles are positively charged, therefore they will be attracted by the negative plate. I think we realize that this option is the most correct. Therefore, our answer will be C. So now we shall go to question 23. 23 says, a spring balance has a maximum reading of 10 newtons and the length of the calibrated scale is 20.0 centimeters. A block of wood suspended from the balance stretches the spring by 15.0 centimeters. Find the weight of the block. So in this case, we have this 10 newtons corresponding to 20 centimeters, and now they want the weight which corresponds to 15 centimeters. So now we shall say that 20 centimeters is equivalent to 10 newtons and 15 centimeters is equivalent to x, which is the weight they want. Now from this we shall cross multiply. When we cross multiply, we shall come up with 20 times x to give you this, equal to 15 times 10 to give you this part. And when you simplify, 15 times 10 is 150, 20 times x is 20x, and when you make x the subject, we shall divide and get 150 divided by 20 to come up with 7.5. So our weight will be 7.5. Let's look for the option with 7.5. So 7.5 is option B. That means that part B was the correct answer. So question 24 says that figure 2 shows a semicircular glass block in which the light incident at an angle of 48 degrees with the glass air interface is refracted along the interface. Find the refractive index of glass. So this is the glass, semicircular glass, and this is the angle incident ray in glass, and when it reaches this boundary, it will be refracted along the glass air interface, meaning that this angle it makes with the normal will be 90 degrees, and for this case the angle this one makes with the normal will be 90 minus 1 minus 48 degrees. So that means that I is equal to 90 minus 48, which is equal to 42 degrees. Then by Snell's law, we know that n sine I is equal to a constant, where n is the refractive index of a given medium and I is the angle of incidence in that very medium. Therefore, when you take Snell's law at the glass air interface, this is the glass air interface, it means that Ng, which is the refractive index of glass, multiplied by sine this angle of incidence, which is 42 degrees, will be equal to Na, which is the refractive index of air, multiplied by sine 90 degrees, which is the angle it makes with the normal in air. So when you do that, we are going to come up with this line, and from this line, when we make Ng the subject, we shall come up with Ng being equal to sine 90 over sine 42. Now, of the 4 given options, we are going to look for the option which has an expression similar to this exactly. So in this case, I think we realize that part B is the one with that expression. Therefore, part B was our answer. Now, question 25 says, a person carrying a heavy load on a bare head puts on a head ring made of banana leaves so that, part A, the area of contact of the load is big and pain is lower. Part B, the area of contact with the load is small and pain is lower. And part C, force exerted by the load is lower and the pain is lower. And part D, force exerted by the load is higher and the pain is lower. So in this case, this will not be okay, and this will not be okay. So the force will remain constant. The load, the weight is the one which accounts for the force, and since the load is still the same, then it means that the force exerted will also remain the same. But on the other hand, we know that pressure is equal to force over area. Now, since force is constant, it means that pressure is inversely proportional to area, meaning when the area of contact increases, pressure lowers, and when the area of contact reduces, pressure increases. And when pressure increases, it means pain increases. So when you look at part B, it says area of contact with the load is small. So this is not okay because the area of contact increases. Now for this part A, area of contact with the load is big and pain is lower. This is okay because when the area of contact increases, it means that pressure will reduce and in return the pain will be lower. Therefore, part A is our answer. Now shall go to question 26. Question 26 says, a zinc plate is placed on a cap of a gold leaf electroscope and exposed to ultraviolet radiations. Which one of the following explains what is observed? Part A, zinc plate gains electrons, becomes negatively charged, causing the leaf to deflect. And part B, zinc plate emits electrons, becomes positively charged, and causing the leaf to deflect. Zinc plate emits positive charges, becomes negatively charged, and causing the leaf to fall. Zinc plate emits electrons, becomes negatively charged, causing the leaf to deflect. Now remember, this case is a demonstration of a photoelectric effect, and in photoelectric effect it is electrons which are emitted. So in this case whereby the zinc plate gains electrons, because of this word gains electrons, this will be wrong. This one emits electrons, shall first leave it. Zinc plate emits positive charges, it will be wrong. And in this case zinc plate emits electrons, shall first leave it. So now we have eliminated part A and part C, and now we have part B and part D. So let's look at them closely. Zinc plate emits electrons, becomes positively charged, causing the leaf to deflect. Then this one says zinc plate emits electrons, becomes negatively charged, causing the leaf to deflect. Now this one, remember, we have lost electrons are negatively charged, and when they are lost, it cannot be negatively charged because negative charges have been lost, meaning it is positive charges which will remain. Therefore this is not okay. But for this one, zinc plate emits electrons, becomes positively charged. Now this will be okay because the negative charges have been eliminated, meaning positive charges will remain. So we shall go with this as our answer. Therefore the correct answer will be part B. Then question 27 says, a gun of mass 10 kilograms fires a bullet of mass 0.505 kilograms with a velocity of 400 meters per second. Find the recoil velocity of the gun. So let's see how it is done. So this is the gun with a bullet inside. So before firing, they are all at both the bullet and the gun are at rest. Then after firing, it means that the gun jacks backwards and the bullet moves forward. That is why you see this velocity for the bullet is in this direction, but the velocity for the gun is in the other direction. So this velocity with which the gun jacks backwards is what we call the recoil velocity of the gun. Therefore, before firing the shell, the gun is at rest and the total momentum is 0, because when the velocity is 0, it means that momentum is also 0. So by conservation of linear momentum, remember these velocities are in opposite directions, so they will be distinguished by a change of sign. So what we do, take velocities to the right to be positive and velocities to the left to be negative. When you do that, we are going to come up with this. So initial momentum is 0, but here momentum for this gun will be mass times velocity. Now our velocity, I think we realize that we have put in negative to show change of direction, plus mass of the bullet times velocity of the bullet. Now because of this negative, we can take the whole of this side to come up with 10v being equal to 0.05 times 400. But they want velocity, so make v the subject by dividing both sides by 10. When we divide both sides by 10, we will come up with an expression of 0.05 times 400, everything divided by 10, to give you velocity in meters per second. So what we are going to do, we are going to look for an expression in the given answers which is exactly similar to this expression. So when you analyze these ones, we shall realize that part A is the one which is exactly similar. Therefore, the answer was part A. So now we shall go to question 28. Question 28 says, which of the following properties are true about hard X-rays? So remember, not this word, hard X-rays. So Roman 1, they have high penetrating power, which is correct. They have high frequency, which is correct. Then they travel at a speed of less than that of light. So this will not be correct. So we shall look for options which gives Roman 1 and Roman 2 as correct. So in this case, we shall realize that this is not okay. This one says Roman 1 and Roman 3, which is not okay. This one says Roman 2 and Roman 3, which is not okay. So we shall remain with that part. Therefore, our answer is part C. Now we shall go to question 29. Question 29 says, an electric heater is used to melt 2 kilograms of ice at 0 degrees Celsius into water at 0 degrees Celsius in 5 seconds. If the specific heat capacity, if the specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 3.36 exponent 5 joules per kilogram, find the power used. So in this case, we shall know that by conservation of heat, heat lost by the heater will be equal to heat gained by ice. We know that heat lost by the heater is given by power times time taken, and heat gained by the ice will be given by mass times latent heat of fusion. Therefore, power is P, which they want. T is 5 seconds, which is here. Mass is 2 kilograms, which is here, and L is 3.36 exponent 5, which is there. Now, when we make P the subject, we shall come up with 2 times 3.3 exponent 5, everything divided by 5. So we are going to look for an expression which is exactly similar to this of the given options. So when you look at these 4 options, you realize that part A is the correct answer. Now we shall go to question 30. Question 30 says, the distance between 2 successive dots of a tape is 4 centimeters. If the frequency of the ticker timer which makes the dots is 50 Hz, find the velocity of the tape in meters per second. So this is our ticker tape timer, and it makes dots, but the distance between 2 successive dots, so this is the dots at position A and position B, so the distance between them is x, meaning that our x will now be 4 centimeters, but we have to convert to meters because the answer, the required velocity, they want it in meters per second, so we have to change the distance to meters. So to change 4 centimeters to meters, we have divided by 100 to come up with 4 over 100 meters. Then frequency was 50 Hz, meaning that 1 tick will be equal to 1 over frequency, which is 1 over 50 seconds. So we have now got the distance and we have got the time taken to move from A to B. Therefore, speed will be equal to distance over time. My distance is 4 over 100 divided by time, which is 1 over 50. When I put a multiplication sign here, I'll get the reciprocal for this. So I'll come up with 4 over 100 multiplied by 50. And when I rearrange, I'll come up with 4 times 50, everything divided by 100. So I'm going to look for an expression which is exactly similar to this in the given options. So when you look at these given options, you realize that option C is the one which is exactly similar, and therefore it was the correct answer. So by now we have gone through the corrections to the questions which we are left in the previous video, and I'm going to leave you with 10 more questions to try out So I believe those questions will be enough for practice, and in the next video we shall go through their solution. But please don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and please share to your other friends so that they can also join this move and we all excel as a family.